Silence, all stand and remain standing until the conclusion of the reading of the proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, the proclamation. All persons having any business before this honorable court now draw nigh. Give your attendance, and you shall be heard.
Admission of lawyers. Wafa Bafan Luni.
May it please the court, I move that Wafa Bakbaluni be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Wafa Bakbaluni be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alana Nicole Callis.
May it please the court, I move that Alana Nicole Callis be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Alana Nicole Callis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Matthew Joseph Kassab.
May it please the court, I move that my son, Matthew Joseph Kassab, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Matthew Joseph Kassab be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Megan Suyan Chow.
May it please the court, I move that Megan Suyan Chow be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Megan Suyan Chow be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ruth Victoria Shope.
May it please the court, I move that Ruth Victoria Chope be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Ruth Victoria Chope be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
McLean Stephen Coles Cowan.
May it please the court, I move that McLean Stephen Coles Cowan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That McLean Stephen Coles Cowan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lisa Churmae.
May it please the court, I move that Lisa Chumere be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Lisa Sumara be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kimberly Marie Etherington.
May it please the court, I move that Kimberly Marie Etherington be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Kimberly Marie Etherington be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Thomas Charles Farinelli.
May it please the court, I move that Thomas Charles Farinelli may be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Thomas Charles Farinelli be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Madeline Shirin Gandhi.
May it please the court, I move that Madeline Shirin Gandhi be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Madeline Shirin Gandhi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Cassandra Lee Garcia.
May it please the court, I move that Cassandra Lee Garcia be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Cassandra Lee Garcia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ethan Mark Hogg.
May it please the court, I move that Ethan Mark Hogg be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ethan Mark Hogg be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Natasha Jane Howland.
May it please the court, I move that Natasha Jane Howland be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Natasha Jane Howland be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Chi Hang Hoi.
May it please the court, I move that Chi Hang Hui be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Chi Hang Hui be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Angus Glenn Peverell Humphreys.
May it please the court, I move that my son Angus Glenn Peverell Humphreys be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Angus Glenn Peverell Humphreys be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Heya Kayum.
May it please the court, I move that Haya Keum be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Haya Kayum be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lavinia Karam.
May it please the court, I move that Lavinia Karam be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lavinia Karam be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jae Ho Kim.
May it please the court, I move that Jae Ho Kim be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable
Let
court.
Jae Ho Kim be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kaz Anshik Kim.
May it please the court, I move that Kaz Anshik Kim be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable
Let
court.
Kaz Anshik Kim be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mackenzie Elizabeth Kirby Brown.
May it please the court, I move that Mackenzie Elizabeth Kirby Brown be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mackenzie Elizabeth Kirby Brown be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shin Hee Lee.
May it please the court, I move that Xing Hin Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Xing Hin Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Maria Anna Alexandra Montano Leon.
May it please the court, I move that Maria Anna Alexandra Montano, Leong, be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
That Maria Anna Alexandra Montano Leong be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Dominica Jane Lucas.
May it please the court, I move that Dominica Jane Lucas be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Dominica Jane Lucas be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Emil Lunasco.
May it please the court, I move that Emil Lunasco be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Emil Lunasco be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zichao Ma.
May it please the court, I move that Zijan Ma be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Zichao Ma be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shivi Malhotra.
May it please the court, I move that Chvi Malhotra be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Chavi Malhotra be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sarah Marie McDiamond.
May it please the court, I move that Sarah Marie McDiamond be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sarah Marie McDiamond be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Yasmin Marina Mulligan.
May it please the court, I move that Yasmin Marina Milligan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yasmin Marina Milligan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sophie Rose Morgan.
May it please the court, I move that Sophie Rose Morgan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sophie Rose Morgan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Chun Yen Nip.
May it please the court, I move that Chun Yun Nip be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Chun Yen Nip be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Han Ju Evelyn Park.
May it please the court, I move that Han Ju Evelyn Park be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Han Ju Evelyn Park be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Leon Young Ha Park.
May it please the court, I move that Lien Yong Ha Park be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Lien Yong Ha Park be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Brioni Louise Mary Pearson.
May it please the court, I move that Bryony Louise Mary Pearson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Bryony Louise Mary Pearson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Harrison Andrew Rosen.
May it please the court, I move that my son Harrison Andrew Rosen be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Harrison Andrew Rosen be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Annabelle Dominic Rue.
Over here.
May it please the court, I move that Annabelle Dominic Rue be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Annabelle Dominic Rue be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ayushma Sapkoda.
May it please the court, I move that Ayushma Sapkota be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ayushma Sapkota be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
James Andrew Sheldick.
May it please the court, I move that my son James Andrew Shieldy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let James Andrew Shieldick be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tess Marie Shirley.
May it please the court, I move that Tess Marie Shirley be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tess Marie Shirley be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jordan Philip Smith.
May it please the court, I move that Jordan Philip Smith be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Jordan Philip Smith be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sanjana Tiwari.
May it please the court, I move that Sanjana Tiwari be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sanjana Tiwari be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jessica Ann Toner.
May it please the court, I move that Jessica Antona be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jessica Antona be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Swetha Valetti.
May it please the court, I move that Swetha Valetti be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Swetha Valetti be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Christopher Joseph Walsh.
May it please the court, I move that Christopher Joseph Walsh be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Christopher Joseph Walsh be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ravina Wijasikara.
May it please the court, I move that Ravina Vijayasekara be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ravina Wijayasekara be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Keife Tse.
May it please the court, I move that Keife Z be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Kiwi Say BC be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jingshu Zhao.
May it please the court, I move that Zingshu Zhao be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Jingshu Xiao be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zaoran Zhou.
May it please the court, I move that Zarun Zhu be admitted as a lawyer of this honorable court.
Let Zarum Zhu be admitted as a lawyer of this court. will now be necessary for those those applicants for admission whose admission has been moved now to, as directed, stand and remain standing for the purposes of swearing an oath or making a declaration and affirmation. So please stand as directed by the officer.
Could I ask that the first two rows to my right please stand? Thank you. Wafa Bakfaluni, Alana Nicole Callis, Matthew Joseph Kassab, Megan Su Yan Chow, Ruth Victoria Shope, McLean Stephen Coles Cowan, Lisa Sherman, Kimberly Marie Etherington, Thomas Charles Farinelli, Madeline Shirin Gandhi, Cassandra Lee Garcia, Ethan Mark Hogg, Natasha Jane Howland, Chihi Hoy, Angus Glenn Peverell Humphreys, Haya Kayun. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. Could I ask that rows 3 and 4 to my right please stand? Lavinia Kareem, Jae-ho Kim, Cass Unshik Kim, Mackenzie Elizabeth Kirby Brown, Shin-hee Lee, Maria Anna Alexandra Montana Leong, Dominica Jane Lucas, Emile Lunasco, Zichao Ma, Shavi Malhotra, Sarah Marie McDiamond, Yasmin Marina Milligan, Sophie Rose Morgan, Chun Yen Nip, Han Ju Evelyn Park, Leon Young Ha Park, Brioni Louise Mary Pearson, Harrison Andrew Rosen. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. Could I ask that the two rows to my left please stand? Annabelle Dominic Rue, Ayushma Sapkota, James Andrew Sheldick, Tess Marie Shirley, Jordan Philip Smith, Sanjana Tiwari, Jessica Ann Toner, Swatha Valetti, Christopher Joseph Walsh, Ravina Wajasekara, Kefe Tse, Jingsu Zhao, Zaoran Zhou. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"?
I do.
Please be seated. Thank you.
Well, may I warmly welcome you all to the Banco Court of the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench this afternoon, and to my right, Justice Tony Payne, a judge of the Court of Appeal, and to my left, Justice Anna Mitchellmore, also a judge of the New South Wales Court of Appeal. Together we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you, the newly admitted lawyers, to practice this afternoon. We have done so sitting in the Banco Court, as I've said, which is on the land for which the Gadigal of the Eora Nation have cared and been custodians for thousands of years, and the court pays its sincere respects to elders, past and present, and extends those respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. To all of the newly admitted lawyers, welcome to the legal profession. Today is one for celebration. I'm also pleased to welcome those with you today, either in person or watching on the live stream. For many of you, the support of your family and friends will have been invaluable on your journey to this occasion. No doubt they've also been on the receiving end of your finely polished or developing skills of argument and persuasion, and I encourage you to take time to thank them today. Depending on how good an advocate you are or have become, you might even convince them to shout you dinner to celebrate the day, or you could reciprocate. We know, we sitting on the bench know how hard you have all worked to get to this stage. It's a memory which never really leaves you. And for most of you, your journey has involved 2.5 or 3 extraordinarily challenging past years affected by the challenges of the pandemic. You've managed your legal studies and qualifications with this additional adversity, unprecedented in our lifetimes, and that makes your achievements marked today all the more impressive, and no doubt the resilience that you have developed in these last 3 years will stand you well into the future. Now, in being admitted as a lawyer of this court, you join an honourable and ancient profession with the custom of advocates swearing an oath on admission to practice dating back to the 12th century. This court first admitted lawyers almost 200 years ago, beginning in 1824, and by 1830 the names of lawyers were being entered onto the rolls in this state, just as you will do immediately after this ceremony. It is in acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the fact that your admission has been moved by someone who is already a member of the profession, and that you have made a formal oath or affirmation in the presence of your family and peers. They are all witnesses to the promises and undertakings that you have made today by making that oath or affirmation. The law touches every part of our society, and it can and will lead you all in many different directions and career paths. But in whatever direction you head, you must always remember that the oath or affirmation that you have just made is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, a Crown Law Office, a government department or agency, or indeed in an entirely different field, you should be and you must be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. You must strive at all times to uphold these cardinal values. Admission as a member of the legal profession is a privilege and not a right. Now, I referred earlier to tradition and formality, and you'll see from some of the portraits around this ceremonial court that we on the bench are wearing the same robes, in some cases literally, as have been worn by our predecessors. Symbolically, that highlights the continuity of the rule in New South Wales for over 200 years, although the judges wearing the robes are now drawn from an increasingly diverse pool of lawyers. As to continuity of the rule of law in a world in which there is much global uncertainty and insecurity, the rule of law is more important than ever, and not simply a phrase of some theoretical import or academic interest. The rule of law is the opposite of the arbitrary abuse of power and the rule of autocratic dictators and populists. We know from being students of the globe that there is nothing theoretical about those risks. Now, notwithstanding the formality and tradition attending this ceremony, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. COVID meant a rapid shift to increase use of virtual courtroom technology to ensure that access to justice continued in the midst of the pandemic. And we are proud of what was able to be achieved in keeping the courts open and the access to justice possible. But we also salute those other professions, especially in the health and educational fields, which did so much for our community through the pandemic. But returning to the legal profession, The technological impetus brought about by the pandemic has also delivered greater workplace flexibility, which is especially important for lawyers with family responsibilities and in regional and remote communities. It has had profound implications for how our legal system interacts with and may become accessible to many more people. Although the increased use of technology offers a number of advantages, the practice of the law has human nature and human interaction at its core, and this is something you must never forget. An essential part of being a good lawyer is understanding people and human nature, how others react to different situations, how they perform under pressure and deal with each other. And as I said in my swearing-in speech as Chief Justice, whilst the remote practice of the law may be possible, it is, at least in my view, far from desirable. There are, of course, other changes in the practice of the law that deserve attention, in addition to those I've mentioned. When we think about the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter a real duality. We have come a very long way, but much more still needs to be done. For example, although women were originally not even permitted to practice in New South Wales for most of this state's history, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practicing certificate in New South Wales, and currently make up 2/3 of solicitors under the age of 30. Some of the most senior positions in the law in Australia, including the current Chief Justices of the High Court and of Victoria, Queensland and the ACT, as well as the President of our Court of Appeal, Justice Julie Ward, are distinguished female lawyers, as is the current Director of State Public Prosecutions, the Senior Public Defender and the Presidents of the Bar Association and the Law Society of New South Wales. There should also be strong representation of lawyers from the many different backgrounds which comprise our cosmopolitan community. Diverse representation amongst solicitors, advocates and judges assists in ensuring that all people who become involved in our justice system, whether willingly or not, can and feel that they can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system which is reflective of our broader community. The admission ceremonies on which I have sat since becoming a judge almost 4 years ago, including this ceremony, highlight that there is a far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than when I commenced practice some years ago. That is a very good thing, and the leaders of the profession and of the courts are working hard to foster inclusiveness and diversity. That in turn, as I've explained, helps build trust in and respect for both the judiciary and the legal profession and ultimately the rule of law. You, the newly admitted lawyers, enter the profession at a time when I suspect more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good, and shortly I will invite 2 young lawyers who were in your shoes not so very long ago to say a few words of welcome on behalf of the Bar and the Law Society. The legal profession is one rich with opportunities, but before turning to them, let me offer a little bit more advice. As a lawyer, you will often need to make difficult ethical decisions. You must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court and to the administration of justice. And one mistake I suggest you should not make, or try not to make, is to give your clients the advice you think they want to hear. That will almost certainly not be good advice. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, said this, and I quote, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same question for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur." That is very good advice, as we have come to expect from Justice Gageler. Now, being a lawyer means that you are an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not just dealing with the law in a vacuum or as an abstract concept, but the law as it applies to people's lives. An individual in need of your services as a lawyer is in most cases an individual facing some kind of great personal challenge or crisis affecting his or her liberty, property, personal well-being or health or financial position. For these reasons, You must always strive to deliver legal services sensitively, competently and fearlessly, yes, but always with courtesy and integrity. In that context, I want to emphasise the importance of what some people call the old-fashioned concept of civility. Aspects of the law, especially if you're involved in the litigation side of practice, are confrontational. The practice of the law can be stressful and demanding enough without personal animus and antagonism between practitioners adding to the load. So it's essential that you maintain your detachment, balance, and good humour, remembering at all times that you are members of a profession and not a business. And remember this, the best advocates can and do make their points simply and succinctly. Often less is more. Now, some of the most experienced lawyers and judges, from whom I do not exclude myself, could use that reminder from time to time. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible, at the very least, very difficult to understand. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make the law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and mostly by putting a particular fact situation into an intelligible legal framework. So I urge you to strive to be clear and concise at all times in both your writing and your speaking. At various points in your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. We all make mistakes from time to time, especially when starting out on something new. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice, and when and if you do make mistakes, that your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice dictates that you take responsibility for the mistake, correct what you can, and learn from those errors. I want to also say this is important. In the practice of the law, your physical and mental health are both extremely important. There may, and I dare say will be, times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out, or distressed. Legal practice can be all-consuming and physically and mentally taxing. Now, very often that's because lawyers want to go the extra mile for their clients. They want to spend another couple of hours making sure they've given the right advice, or they've found the right authorities, or they've left no stone unturned. That is an honourable an admirable aspect of the profession, but it does mean that the work can be tiring and draining. So you must work hard to keep your balance and to keep your eye out to ensure that your colleagues do as well. If you do get overwhelmed by it all, as frankly we all have from time to time, and occasionally still do when trying to get judgments out, try to take a step back and recapture some perspective, or suggest gently but respectfully to some of your colleagues that they should think about doing so as well if you think they need to. Also remember that the law is a highly collegiate profession. And in this context, I'm now going to call upon young representatives of the Bar Association and the Law Societies to say a few words. First, Ms. Skoufis, do you move?
May it please the court. My name is Alana Skoufis, and I have been practicing at the bar for about 3 months, and before that for some time as a solicitor, predominantly in criminal and administrative law. On behalf of the New South Wales Bar Association, I welcome you to the legal profession. The legal profession is an old profession based on precedent and the rule of law, whilst also being a profession that grows and develops to adapt to new technology, much like this, and most importantly, to society's values as they change over time. For several decades now, the composition of lawyers and barristers in New South Wales has changed to better reflect the community. The bar today is a welcoming place for people of all genders and backgrounds, and you are welcome either straight away or after some time as a solicitor to apply to come to the bar. It is an honour to be a lawyer, and in my case, a barrister, and I am very proud to be a member of the legal profession. I enjoy the intellectual challenge of my job, and it allows me to give expert advice and representation to people in court and to contribute to society in a meaningful way. If you are interested in coming to the bar, you can contact the New South Wales Bar Association or have a look at its website, and that contains information including the steps that will assist you in understanding how to come to the bar. Each year there's also a Career at the Bar Open Day, and the next one of those is in October. To become a barrister, you need to pass the bar exams and satisfactorily complete the bar practice course, in addition to your reading requirements in your first year at the bar. In terms of the support available, in your first year of practice as a reader, and I'm a reader, you have 2 tutors who are barristers of at least 7 years seniority who meet with you weekly, and they review your work and teach you practical skills, whether by appearing with them in court or otherwise. The bar is also renowned for its collegiality, and that's especially so in chambers, so you never feel alone in the work that you're doing. The New South Wales Bar Association is a professional body that supports barristers, and it has a number of committees, including, for example, a new barristers committee for barristers between 0 and 5 years, or baby barristers like me, a wellbeing committee which runs seminars on health and wellbeing, promoting balance between work and other parts of your life, and a diversity and equality committee that promotes one of the key strategic goals of the New South Wales Bar Association, namely to attract the best people to become barristers, regardless of their race, religion, gender, parental status, or sexual preference. Whether as a lawyer or a barrister, I encourage you to get involved in the Law Society or the Bar Association and to use your skills to assist your community. It is a rewarding experience to practice in connection with others in the community. Once again, on behalf of the New South Wales Bar Association, I welcome you to the legal profession, and I congratulate you today for your admission as a lawyer of this honourable court. May it please the court.
Ms. Seraphim of the Law Society of New South Wales.
May it please the court. My name is Leah Seraphim. I'm President of New South Wales Young Lawyers and a solicitor at Herbert Smith Freehills. Not so long ago, I stood where you are standing today. And what a day it is. You are here being admitted to the Supreme Court role as the final step at the end of a long and arduous journey. You should all feel immensely proud of what you have achieved thus far. When I embarked on my career as a solicitor, I had no real idea of what to expect. It has not been easy. Often, it was overwhelming. But as I stand here today after working in taxation law since my own admission ceremony, I can tell you I've already learnt a thing or two. One thing I have learnt is the importance of belonging to a profession. The legal profession is an increasingly large and diverse community, and one to which you now all belong. The Law Society of New South Wales is the home of that community, with over 30,000 members flung far and wide across the state. We are bound by our shared duties, our commitment to continuous learning, our desire to connect, and our drive to give back to our communities and to uphold the rule of law. As an early career lawyer, belonging to a strong network of peers is crucial. That is why I've been part of New South Wales Young Lawyers for the past 7 years. Here I have found friendship, inspiration, guidance, and support when I needed it most, as well as opportunities to advocate and join committees. By joining the Law Society and New South Wales Young Lawyers, you will gain access to professional support, conferences and events, a wide range of publications, professional development opportunities, mentoring, volunteer opportunities, and so much more. It is the role of the Law Society and New South Wales Young Lawyers to ensure that you, as newly minted solicitors, can thrive and succeed in the legal profession. So again, congratulations to you all. We look forward to welcoming you to the New South Wales Young Lawyers community. May it please the court.
Thank you. Seraphim. Well, can I say this to you all in closing? The law is a wonderful profession. It's stimulating, it's challenging and satisfying, and it's populated by intelligent, committed and dynamic people, such as yourselves. You should be proud to be a lawyer and of your achievements to date, and you should remain proud to be a lawyer. It is a very important profession, the legal profession, and you are now a very important part of it. So hold your heads high and the very best of luck in the exciting journey that lies ahead. On behalf of Justice Payne, Justice Mitchelmore, and all of our colleagues on the Supreme Court, I once again congratulate you all on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
All stand. This honourable court is now adjourned.
So just a reminder that those of you who have just newly been admitted